So we're going to jump the gun a little bit here. What I'm going to end up doing is, let's say that we had a virtual method. So I'm going to have some method. I'm going to call it is expensive. Again, we might want to organize these things a little bit better, but then we could always end up doing it. If our test passed, we probably know we did a better job of organizing. We're going to describe is expensive, and we'll say that a product with a suggested price greater than $10 is expensive. And we actually don't have a suggested price here. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go over here, and I'm going to end up building a product. Now, what is building? Building means you could actually set things up. We're not going to save things out to the database because we could actually do this without having the cost of inserting something. Not that it's a big deal, but the test will read a little bit easier. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say that I expect if I end up taking a product and I build it, and this doesn't exist yet, I'm going to add it. But if the suggested price, I'm going to make this is 11, that I expect that if I end up looking at that product, the is expensive property to equal true. And if I go back over here, I'll find that that's not going to happen because that property doesn't exist. Well, what we're going to do here, and we're going to do this in one shot, is I'm going to go over to my database, and I'm going to first of all come up here, and there's two things that I'm going to bring in. I'm going to do this in, again, one shot. You could break this up into a couple of different steps here, but I'm going to take decimal and I'm going to take virtual. And for one thing, I'm going to have a suggested price. So I'm going to go over here. I'll say the suggested price is in fact of type decimal. And we can even give this a default value. Let's give it a default value of 5. And what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to set up another property because there's no reason that I need to store this in the database, but is expensive is going to also be a property, but it's not going to be stored in the database. I'm going to make it virtual. And what I'm going to end up doing here is putting in a get. And this virtual property is basically going to be, hey, look, what I'm going to end up returning is that if this suggested price is greater than 10, I'm going to say true. Otherwise, I'm going to end up saying false. And this will end up passing. And I could also just, double check that. So it's I have a little bit more here. Product with a suggested price less than 10, 10 or less. Is not expensive. So I'm going to go over here. I'll make this 10, right? This will end up failing, and that's true because this is going to be false. So just with this code here, we ended up setting not only a property, suggested price, but we're also setting up whether or not it's expensive. Let's just do one other thing here so we actually have some data. Let's actually give these guys prices. We'll give foo a suggested price of 11. We'll give bar a suggested price of 10. And we'll give Baz a suggested price of 9. This shouldn't end up breaking anything, all right? This will end up running, but this will sort of set us up for what we're going to do next.